Friends, in this video for I Thought Wealth, I'm going to talk to you on the topic disinvestment hits the roadblock again. It was expected that this year disinvestment would finally take off. Many of us believed in it. We thought that the government will be successful in kickstarting disinvestment. The Air India deal gave us a lot of confidence, but what has happened in the last 2 months is something which we could have never expected. The war in Ukraine basically became the spoiler, and we have seen that the FII selling has also been unabated. These two factors effectively derailed whatever disinvestment the government could do. We also had lack of interest as a very big deterrent. We did not have serious buyers for BPCL. Also, we had put more companies on the block for which we have not seen serious interest. Beyond that, we also wanted to do the largest IPO in our history, which is the LIC IPO. To bring an IPO of that size, we need very good market sentiment. That is something that has been elusive for the last 2 months. Given this scenario, the government has backed off from doing whatever it wanted to do on the disinvestment front in this financial year. Effectively, now disinvestment is deferred to the next financial year, and we hope that the government will be able to do something better than what it did. But it has done very little in this financial year, so whatever they do next year will definitely be better than what they have done this year. The fact that disinvestment has been slipping every time it is brought to the forefront does not give confidence to those who are investing in companies on the premise that they would be sold. Because when businesses don't get sold for long periods of time, then they are never going to be sold. You need to do things within a finite period of time, execute and deliver. That has not happened. While the government may not be responsible for what has happened in this year, it still has to find a more dynamic approach to achieve what it wants to achieve. We cannot always blame the external environment for what we have not been able to accomplish, because we must set our goals factoring in those challenges which the external environment will bring. Having said that, there is still some room for us to cheer, and that is the banks are gradually coming out of that phase when they had losses. For 3 quarters, no PSU bank has made a loss. We'll have to see what happens in this quarter, and based on that, we'll have to see whether the government has the option of selling a few banks to private sector. Effectively, the government must create interest in Indian corporate groups or Indian groups which don't have any other interest except financial businesses to buy Indian public sector banks. It also needs to make our large engineering companies take interest in the companies that it wants to sell. It needs the steel companies to buy the businesses it wants to sell. We had one sale of a steel plant. We have to sell one more in the next financial year. So effectively, we need to create more interest and more confidence among buyers, and we need to ensure that we achieve much better results in disinvestment in the next financial year. Overall, the last year has been a big disappointment, and the next year can only be better than last year simply because the last year was such a sorry year for disinvestment. Investors have completely lost interest in disinvestment. Those who are holding shares hoping that the businesses would be sold have all gradually decided that they are not going to wait too long. We are seeing sentiment in companies which are likely to be sold coming down slowly. We are seeing the market start behaving as if disinvestment will never happen. We are seeing institutional players completely showing no interest in disinvestment. We are seeing analysts put sell reports wherever the businesses are not getting sold. We will have a scenario where expectations are going to keep going lower on disinvestment. That is inevitable. So if the government manages to sell a few companies, then we would see a sharp turnaround in sentiment. But for now, the onus of changing the sentiment lies squarely with the government and the disinvestment ministry. The last few months have certainly been underwhelming, and investors are not sure when the mood will change. Overall, we'll have to wait, watch, and we'll have to take evidence from success and then build future expectations on disinvestment. Thank you very much.